You know what's funny to me? Besides Alabama's light show? Yeah. Corn dogs. Running around all off season talking about they're winning the next 100 national titles in a row. Yeah, we know. We know you think that. But we also know that's not happening, okay? You're not Clemson or Alabama. Hell, you're not even Oklahoma, where you're going to be making a whole bunch of playoffs in a row, winning a bunch of national titles over the next 3 or 4 years. You're not even winning the next one in a row. You're not Clemson or Alabama or Oklahoma. You're not fixing to make multiple playoffs. You know who you are? 2019 LSU is 2010 Auburn. Let me explain. Yeah, good morning, and that's Uncle Lou here. That's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today with another educational video for you, and informative. If this channel is nothing else, it's educational and informative, and you're going to get huge doses of both education and information in today's video right now. LSU Tigers. First of all, let me say this. Congratulations for the millionth time from me on your 2019 season. 15-0, one of the best teams we've seen in a while, dominating performances throughout most of the regular season, couple of close games here and there. Pretty much ran through the playoffs like shit through a tin horn without a problem, dominating one of the best, definitely offensive teams we've seen in quite some time. So congratulations. There's nothing anyone can say to you about 2019. Here's the problem though. I don't understand why you can't just enjoy 2019. I mean, it just turned May. You just won this national title 4 months ago. Literally the next morning after LSU won the national title, instead of beating their chest and bragging, which is what they should have been doing, what are they doing? Already next year. Wait till next year. You just wait. The wait till next year is supposed to be for teams who don't win the national title. I don't understand why LSU fan can't get this through their skull. Maybe because they're corn dogs. I don't know. But the whole next year thing is supposed to be for teams that came up short. You didn't come up short. You won it all. Why you get next year? Oh, next year we're going to go on a run. Dynasty. None of that is happening. You're 2010 Auburn. That is exactly what LSU is. Go back to 2010. Do you guys remember that season? That was the Cam Newton season at Auburn. Auburn was doo-doo before 2010, and they went to doo-doo right after 2010. The only difference was Cam Newton. Well, Cam Newton and Gus Malzahn, if you believe the Barner. The Barner doesn't want to give Gene Chizik, who was the head coach of Auburn in 2010, they don't want to give him any credit at all. Now, at the time they did, is this starting to sound familiar? Corn dog? Please keep trying to convince us that Ed Orgeron is some elite level head coach who's fixing to win 11 million national titles. You're going to be just like the Barner in a couple of years. You're going to be mad at Ed Orgeron and you're going to be begging for Joe Brady. It's exactly what's going to happen because that's what happened with the Barn in 2010. They were a mediocre team the 4 years prior to 2010. Copious notes for you. Prior to 2010, the Barn won 8 games, 5 games, 9 games, 11 games. Whee! No SEC titles. The 4 years prior to 2019 for LSU, 10 wins, 9 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins, no SEC titles. What changed in 2019 for LSU? What changed in 2010 for the Barn? 2010, the Barn had one of, if not the best players they've ever had. It had Bo Jackson back in the early to mid 80s, right? We all remember that. Cam Newton in 2010. Definitely the best quarterback the Barn has ever had. A generational talent, a Heisman Trophy winner, undefeated, just a sensational season in 2010 for Cam Newton. That was the only year he was there. He was gone to the NFL after that. You had Gus Malzahn running the offense. People were convinced this guy was some kind of a guru or a genius, which maybe he was as an offensive coordinator, right? Again, is this starting to sound familiar to the corn dog LSU fan? Is this starting to sound familiar? LSU, 8-9 wins every single year for the last 7 or 8 years, right? You bring in Joe Burrow, you bring in Joe Brady, You have an amazing offensive year. You go undefeated. You win the national title. Burrow dips for the NFL. Brady leaves for the NFL, right? What did he get? A coordinator job in Carolina or something, right? Go back and look at the barn. Cam Newton left. Gus Malzahn left. I think Malzahn stayed as offensive coordinator for one additional year where they won 8 games the next year. And you may win 8 games this year. So I'm not saying you're fixing to, fall off the map and win 3. You may win 8 games this year. Nothing to hold your head in shame about there, I guess. But anyway, it's literally lining up to be exactly like Auburn 2010. Win it all with a generational talent at QB, Heisman winner, undefeated season. He leaves, your offensive coordinator leaves, and you fall right back down on your face. That's exactly what happened at the barn. Malzahn left after 2011. They won 8 games that year. The following year, the barn won 3 games? 3? That's hard to fathom, but that's what they did. Got rid of Chiswick, dusted Gus Malzahn off, made him head coach. They did win the SEC in 2013, and hell, LSU may win the SEC again 3 years from now, right? Barn SEC title in 2010, national title in 2010, SEC title in 2013, 3 years later. LSU may be good enough again in 3 years to win the SEC. I don't know. We'll see. Not good enough to do it this coming year, though. And that's not an insult against LSU. Again, you had an amazing team last year. I don't understand why, as soon as the game ends, you have to start with the wait till next year. It just doesn't make any sense. Enjoy it. Hell, even Alabama or Clemson fans enjoy their current national title when they win one for a couple of weeks, a month, a couple of months before they start trying to convince people they're doing it again the next year. And how often has it happened? Once. Alabama won back-to-back titles once. Tater's still trying to accomplish it. So it's just not happening. You don't lose a generational talent like Burrow, who was literally the only reason you went from 9-10 wins to 15. Literally, him and Joe Brady. That's it. Nothing else was different about the team. Your defense was not all that. Okay, your defense was run-of-the-mill. Your defense was average. Your defense, to be honest, was pedestrian. Let's just be real. I mean, there was nothing exciting about the defense. It was the same defense. LSU's got 11 NFL players on defense every single year. That didn't change last year. Not changing this year. What is changing is you don't have Joe Burrow or Joe Brady. If I was LSU fan, I would see what's coming, but y'all don't. I would be talking about 2019 up until the second 2020 actually started, the season. I would be standing from the mountaintop screaming about how amazing we were in 2019 and still making fun of the Gump for beating them and Georgia for beating them and running through the playoffs with Clemson and Oklahoma and winning the title right up until the moment we kicked off the 2020 season. These corn dogs can't do that. Literally, the whistle was still blowing like the clock. As soon as the clock hit all zeros in the national title game, here come the corn doggers with the wait till next year, and it don't make no damn sense. You want it all. What are you waiting on? Why? Wait for what? I'm supposed to wait. I'm waiting till next year every year for 40 years. And you can't take one off season to relish the season that you had, all ready to wait till next year. So no, you're not winning the SEC in 2020. You're not making the playoffs in 2020. You still are going to pretend Ed Orgeron is an elite level, amazing top 2 or 3 head coach in America because you don't know any better. But you're just like Auburn 2010, and the process of how your mind evolves over the next 2 to 3 seasons is going to be exactly the same as how the Barner fans' mind evolved from 2010 to 2011 to 2012 to 2013. It's going to be exactly the same. You guys will end up turning on Ed Orgeron. You'll end up giving Joe Brady and Joe Burrow all the credit, which is what you should be doing now. Reality is going to come crashing down if and when this 2020 season finally starts, and you'll figure it out. But by then, it'll be too late. You can't wait until 2020, catch a couple of L's, and then start talking about how great you were in 2019. It's too late then. You're supposed to be doing that now. You're supposed to be talking about how amazing you were in 2019 now. You're the current college football kings now. We all know what's happening next year. How is it possible that you don't? Jesus Christ, you guys make about as much sense as a sack of dead batteries. Miles Brennan. Yeah. Hey, listen, believe me, we know. How do we know? Here's how we know what we're going to get from Miles Brennan. We know you think Miles Brennan is going to throw for 11 million yards next year and run for probably half of that and have 100 touchdowns. We know that. How do we know that? Again, you're Auburn 2010. So that's how we know that. Jeremy Johnson, John Franklin III, Sean White, Jared Stidbaloney, Bo Nix. Every one of these quarterbacks is winning the Heisman and going 15-0 for the barn every single year since 2010. Every single year, the starting quarterback is going to win the Heisman and go 15-0 because Cam Newton did it in 2010. You think the same thing now. Jesus Christ, man. That humidity or something in the swamps out there in Louisiana has done rotted y'all's brains from the inside out. And I don't trust a group of people that eats dirt fish anyway. I'm sorry, crawfish is not any good. They're nasty. Crawfish, crawdads, you're literally brushing dirt off of them things and then biting the head off of it and sucking the shit out from inside. Enjoy that, I guess.